Let's go through the debug menu and show you all the cool things that you can do instead of just hitting F8 and hoping that nothing goes wrong. So let's start with this one right here, the my example, which does call the other macro. And let's hit, let's click debug. Let's see here. So we're going to click on step into, and then we're going to click on, let's see what else. So you know what stepping into is. It's basically hitting F8 a bunch of times and keep going line by line. Now the next thing you do is step over and step out. I'm going to show you what that is, but it has to do with when you're calling another macro. And you don't maybe want to go line by line for 400 lines until you finally reach the end and you get to continue the macro you actually care about. So what you're going to do, let's hit F8 a couple times. So we got the message box, 50, yeah, great. So now, scenario number one is we're here in the debug stage, and we don't want to go line by line through this one. We just want to go right here to the next line. So rather than, boom, it doing that, we want to, let me see here, let me start over. F8, F8, F8. So you're, gosh dang it. So you're here, and if you click on step over, it'll actually run this macro in its entirety and go and step over it right to the next step. Now the alternative is, let's say you hit F8 and, oh crap, I accidentally started the other macro and I really wish I could just get to the next line of my actual macro I wanted to look at. Let's finish this one out but not finish out the entire macro. So all you have to do is you would do Control Shift F8, or you would click on step out instead of step over, and that would allow this one to run all the way to the end, but it wouldn't let this one run all the way to the end. It would just stop right where we wanted it to. So if you click on the step out, it ran that one, but now it stopped right here for us. So that's pretty cool. And then run to cursor is the next thing we'll talk about. So if we are, let's say we're here, and I wanted the macro to run all the way until it reached right here, then all I have to do is click on the run to cursor, which is Control F8, and it will run this and run that, but it'll stop right here and let me debug through, rather than me having to put the word stop right here and rerun it. It'll just run to cursor. Okay, and then here's where you can add a watch or edit a current watch thing from the watch menu that we talked about a little while ago in the view, or quick watch. It's just pretty much the same thing. The next thing is toggling breakpoints, which is F9, or clearing all breakpoints. So let's talk about toggling breakpoints. Let's say you didn't want to have to click right here every time you wanted it to stop right there. You just wanted to have it stop there all the time for a little while. There's different ways you can hit. You can put the F9 for breakpoint, which toggles a breakpoint, and if you want to take it off, hit F9 again. Or you can actually just click here along the edges and have it stop here, here, and here as well. So if I put a breakpoint right there and I clicked Run Macro, it'd run that one. It would call the other one up, but it would stop right here instead of running all the way through. That's a breakpoint. Pretty nice. So let's say we put a breakpoint here and here. Here's what would happen. Let's go ahead and run it. So it would stop here, and then whenever I run it to the next station, it'll run everything it needs to. And it'll stop here. So those are breakpoints. Very, very, very nifty. And let's clear all breakpoints just in case. And then the set next statement and the show next statement is pretty nifty here. Let's go to set next statement. Let's stop this macro, and let's say that you're trucking along. You're hit F5. But I don't want to run this statement, or you know, I want to set my next statement to be this one right here. So as a temporary thing, we click Control F9, and it basically just jumps your yellow thing to right there. So it doesn't want to run any of these. We want to run this one right now. You can also do that by just clicking and moving the arrow around to wherever you want that to be. But if you just happen to be in the neighborhood and you want to click Control F9 or just go to Set Next Statement, you can do that. And that's pretty much it for the debug menu, so we'll move on.